And after a couple months goes by in the middle of the year, you might think to yourself, wow, I have been complicating this the whole time. He's taught this, but I have brought things to this learning process and slowed myself down. Yes, every one of my profitable students comes to that realization. Always, they tried to bring everything to the table when they try to find a setup. You don't need that. Look at the 2022 model. I clearly reduced that down to the minimalist approach to doing it. And it's beautiful. It's poetic in price action. It's not going to work every single time on every single time frame, every single minute of the day. You have to wait for certain characteristics and signatures to materialize in price. And once that occurs, and I know what some of you are thinking, well, what are they, ICT? Go through the lessons in that 2022 mentorship. It's there. You're asking for something else because you're looking for that void in your experience doing it, seeing charts, print, real time, studying back data, hindsight, movement. So you're trying to fill in a simple response from me that will never adequately fill in the necessity for you as the student and trader in development to go into the charts yourself. See, that's the part that all of the lazy people, every single one of my intakes, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21, every single group that came into my private mentorship had a group of lazy ass people. And yes, that sounds disrespectful, but folks, that's what it is. That's the defining thing. Oh, I looked at your videos, I watched your videos, and I wrote 5 pages of notes. How are you going to call me lazy? You didn't do the work. What's the work? You got to put your ass in front of the charts. You have to study what it's done. Look for the things that I've taught you. Have copious amounts of notes going back for months. And then you do that each day too, annotating every single time. And you study them on the weekend when the markets aren't trading. You have to pour yourself into this, folks. It's not going to be easy for you. It ain't going to be just watching a video. And some of you, unfortunately, have this expectation that I'm going to somehow make it so easy that you're going to watch a couple live streams with me and you're going to figure it out right then and there. I'm telling you, some of you young men are going to do this and you're making a mistake. You need to spend the entirety of 2023 with me. You have no idea what you're stepping into. You have no idea what you're getting ready to get involved in and learn, and what's going to be expected of you personally. You come to me wanting to learn, and I'm prepared to teach all of you. But you have to be really prepared to learn. Some of my students that have come to me over the years weren't ready. They had to come, figure it out that it wasn't something they wanted to do or be a part of, and they would leave and go do other things and hurt themselves and come back and say, you know what, I didn't feel that person understood what they were doing. But let me give this ICT one more chance. And I had people do that. I had one guy come in 2016, quit after the first month, then came in on the 2017 group, went halfway through and quit, and then came back in 2019. And I had made him pay every single month all over again. That was the terms. That was the way it was. You know what? He's happy he did it now. Doesn't need any hand holding from me. So what does that tell you? He was the problem. You are always going to be the problem. It's not the teacher. It's the person trying to learn this, because this is something entirely different from anything else. It's not a sport. It's not an exercise regime where, everybody is going to follow the same procedure. It's not like Peloton. We're not going to be sitting our asses in front of a computer screen each time we do it, and we're all going to have the same results. We're all going to have different results. Even if I were to sit in front of you and press the button and go into the market and trade, go long, here's my stop, here's my target, I'm going to take my partials here. You're all going to do it differently. You're going to sit and wait. Let me see if it really is starting to move in the favor he's talking about. Okay, now I'll chase. I trust it now. He's probably right. You're smiling. You're thinking, damn, he's got me. That's exactly what I would do. Right. This isn't my first rodeo. I've done this for a long, long time, folks. I've trained a lot of people, and I have a lot of students that came and failed. Not because this stuff doesn't work, because they are broken. They have never fixed themselves. They've never been responsible. personally responsible. And it's so easy for them to point and find a fault outside of themselves. And you're going to have to do very, very hard things in 2023 to keep yourself from feeling that way, because you're going to do something wrong. You're going to get things incorrect when you're trying to learn. Your observations, when I prompt you, what do you think it's going to do right here? Do you think it's going to go to this level, or do you think it's going to go to this level? It's interactive. It will be interactive. And if you get it wrong, do not look at that as I'm defeated. I'm never going to learn this. The moments you don't do it right, or if you get it wrong, that's zeroing in on an opportunity for you to improve on. You have to show up. Time will do all the heavy lifting. I know exactly what I'm going to do with y'all. I know exactly what's going to happen, but you have to do the work. You have to show up. You have to stop looking outside of the markets that I'm talking about, because I don't give a shit about Bitcoin and crypto. Stop asking me. They're going to zero. I've already told you that. You will get the results you're looking for, but they can't be given to you. You must earn them independently. Period. End of story. There's no shortcuts. I wish there was, because I could have been done the first year doing this on Baby Pip. So here, there it is. It's done. And just see ya. Check in and see what's going on once in a while. But it's not that easy, folks. It's hard, because each one of us has mental baggage. You have stuff that's wrong with you, but you don't want to call it something wrong. You want to find a reason to justify your shortcomings, your issues, your character flaws. And see, profitable, consistent, long-term, successfully trading in the marketplace requires you to master yourself. You're never mastering the markets. It's never going to happen. That is never going to happen. How do I know that? Well, I know it like the back of my hand, and I still can be humbled. It'll do something that I didn't expect. And you saw 2 examples of that with CPI, which is exactly why I don't trade ahead of it. I know my limitations. I know where I shouldn't step, or the market will remove my head cleanly, efficiently. So when I talk about those things and how to avoid it, those unfortunately are the topics and lessons that nobody really wants to pay attention to, because they think if they just learn how to pick the right order block or the fair value gap that stays open now, you see how that changes? That's always been an interesting study for me as a teacher. Whenever I reveal something, and this is the only thing that my trolls have correct. Everything else, they're full of shit. But every single time I've either revealed something new or deeper, everybody collectively that is not really versed in what it is they should be doing, or have settled in on a particular model of their own, they clamor to that thing. And when it was order blocks, it was that. Oh, and it was breakers. You're going to have to slowly press into uncomfortable places in your learning next year. Because the trolls were right and are right when they say every time ICT releases something, little buzzword or something like that, everybody flocks to it like it's the only thing that works in the marketplace. And they're right. Some of you, a lot of you, do that. And you don't need to do that. I mean, it's interesting to see your passion and pursuit to learn more about it. But I'm not stupid. Like, I know that everybody's going to chase the new buzz thing, because Smart Money Concepts is kind of like the leader of the pack now in all of the analysis venues on all social media. And yes, it's viewed from it's a love it or hate it. There's no middle ground in it. And that's fine. That's good. There's liquidity. That has to happen. I never anticipated that everybody would love the things that I'm teaching, or even me. And that's why I've always said, don't worship me. I'm not your hero. I have always been the anti-hero. I've championed demo accounts. I called myself the demo baller forever. And this year you saw a live account. Just in 5 weeks, over 100% return, even teaching drawdown resolution. problem areas, doing things incorrectly. I had students ask me all the time, hey, what happens if you put a trade on until you hit the buy button and you really want to do the sell button? What do you do in that instant? Well, I've done that. I've done that several times throughout my career. And anybody says they didn't do it is a liar. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, I've done it. You're going to do it too. Oh man, especially if you're using those hot buttons up in the upper left-hand corner on TradingView. In fact, I almost did it this week. I was literally hovering over the wrong one. I'm like, whoa, what the hell am I doing? That's not what I wanted to do. So I kind of tell myself constantly, because usually I'm having my son next to me, try not to get in a conversation or talk when I'm getting ready to engage those entries or taking off partials, because I actually did that last month. I ended up trying to take up a partial off on a long, and instead of taking and selling, I ended up buying one more when it should have been a partial to come off. So what do you do in that instance? You correct it immediately. You don't even think about it. You just correct it immediately. So if you're looking to go in the marketplace long, this is an extra thing. This is a rabbit trail. So you get these in these live things with me. But if you're looking to go long and you make a mistake and you hit this sell short, you're entering in the wrong direction immediately. As soon as you realize you do that, don't look at the profit and loss and try to wiggle your way out of it. Oh, maybe don't do that. Don't do that, especially if you're learning from me, because if you're learning how to trade with my concepts, you probably won't get that opportunity, because I'm teaching you where to get in right when the market's going to have an explosive move. So why the hell would you be messing around waiting to see if it's going to come back and cover your dealing spread, okay, or allow you to cover for cost of commissions and fees? Fuck that. As soon as you make the mistake, get out. Just zero it out. Done. And maybe in most instances, especially if you're new, just watch the move that you were getting ready to participate in. Because when I was younger, I did that kind of stuff because I was in a rush. I was in a rush to get in there, and once we had activity that could be placed, with a discount broker, when I was trading with Lynn Waldock, $30 a round turn, which was great because I came from Fox Investments, which was $100 round turn. That was robbery. But that's what it cost to do one trade, one contract. It was $100. Now imagine trying to do your 16 contracts full position on something like that. You ain't doing it, brother. So you had to constantly shop around. And there was Ira Epstein or whatever it is. And then you had Lynn Waldock, and then you had there's one more on the top of my head. But wait, if you're new, you haven't got the experience. This is where I was going. Sometimes when I was a younger guy, I would get in and I was thinking, okay, well, it's moving a little bit against what I would have been doing. And if it's moving in my favor a little bit, maybe I was wrong, right? Maybe I was wrong. And let me just see what happens with this. And then all of a sudden, it goes where my initial analysis was, but my stupidity in pressing the wrong button, getting in foolishly, hitting the wrong key, getting in, human error, and then trying to, maybe it was a good mistake. Maybe it was the universe, helping and guiding me do it the other way. And then my asses got torn up from it. So I've learned, if you make a mistake and you enter on something that was not predetermined as far as the logic as why you went and did it, just pull out of it, get out of it. Don't worry about it. Just take whatever that little cost, that paper cut, get it and just be done with it, because you can see something turn violently against you and it would just be more demoralizing. It's simple. You did a mistake, you get in, you did something wrong, get out. Who cares? I'm not going to beat myself up about something like that, but I did beat myself up about trying to stay with it on the instances where I tried to work out a way of covering the cost of commission. Because let's be honest, when I first started, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from riches. I didn't come from wealth. One half of my family had money, but it was my father's side, and I had no access to that. It was a grandfather that wasn't biologically mine. It wasn't my father's father, so he wasn't entitled to anything. In fact, nobody got anything from him. When they died, everything went into their children, his biological children. So I didn't have any advantages in that regard. So when I had losing positions, or if I had a loss of any kind, they were monumental. Like they did major psychological damage to me. But because I'm obsessively compulsive and I have a lot of other issues in my hardwiring, that doesn't make me the perfect person. It would cause me to do things to be more aggressive about trying to get it back faster, and inspire me to never quit. Sometimes I would be beaten down and my account would be dusted and blown. Like seriously, like that was very hard for me to save up money to get that account started again. And then in a matter of 2 days, maybe 3 days of doing full of shit, chasing the grain markets, trying to think that just because the market was showing me a reversal of the normal carrying charge market where I teach, and the nearby contract should be cheaper than the next one out and going further. Well, every time I saw that inversion, because I learned this from Larry Williams and because I watched it in a video, I thought I understood it. Okay. And I looked and saw the commercials were above the zero line on the net trader position chart. So naturally, what does that mean? Every time that the Williams percent R was in oversold condition, that was when you buy it. That's what I was thinking. That was all I had to do. And I would be buying it expecting to go into limit up moves. And it would keep going down and stay oversold on the Williams percent R and keep going down and keep going down. And I'd buy more and it would keep going down. And then I would trade now without a stop loss because, I know I'm right. I just don't want to get stopped out. And it just keeps going down. And all of a sudden the account's gone. I did that shit when I was younger. Okay. I did all that dumb shit because I didn't know how to trade. I didn't know how the markets book. I didn't know what the market is going to do. After those conditions present themselves, you still have to get in there and wait for structure to change to support that bullish idea. See, I didn't know any of that stuff. I just figured, well, the indicator says this. The market's showing that we're in a commercial bull market based on what Larry Williams taught, and I got money in my account, so fuck it, it's casino time. And I was looking at an account statement saying zero or just a couple dollars in the account. And it would suck. Like it would suck because I was thinking to myself, I know I can do this. Is I got to find a way to get in alignment with the market. I got to find a way. How does the market give me clues, indications that this is in fact the time to be doing something? I know that when you, as a student, see me do those trades and you think, wow, man, if I could just get like that, okay, then life's going to change for me. Well, I'm going to explain something to you. When I first started, I didn't think what I'm able to do now was even possible. I'm going to say that one more time. And it's not bragging. I want you to really listen to what I'm saying here. When I first started, even when I figured out what it is that I wanted to focus in on, I did not believe that I would be able to do what you're able to see me do now. It took a lot of time to get to this point. And when you see people like a Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, which are real goats, okay, these men are they're the epitome. That's the upper echelon. Like you can't get better than them. That's it. That they are it. They didn't get to that skill level right from Jump Street. They didn't just walk out there and say, yeah, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be this great at it. I wasn't like that. Like I failed a lot. I blew lots of accounts. I tried changing stuff around. I tried taking things out of what I felt was working. Maybe that would make an example of improvement that would be notable. And like I said, I figured it out like 2.5, 3 years into it. I knew what I had, but I was tinkering around with it, wasted 3 more years of bullshit, back testing and theory testing and putting money in accounts. And I would run money up and then crash and burn, run money up and crash and burn, because I'm trying to figure out the optimal settings for everything. And I'm also doing things automated with easy language. TradeStation. All these things, these cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. Well, those 1,000 cuts didn't kill me. They make me a fucking animal today. Okay. I have scar tissue so thick, it's like bulletproof. and wrecking ball proof too, bitch. Okay. I can literally walk into any setting, any venue, whether it be in front of the CFTC, SEC, FTA, courts, public opinion, whatever the fuck you want to bring, I can prove this stuff. And I would gladly do it. I would gladly do it. I would go on CNBC and do that shit live in front of everybody. Give me the opportunity. My ass will be in a car driving up the road, and you'll see me on there with a t-shirt, alcoholic. Think I won't? Test me. See, I won't do it. They'll be hiring me. There's our new anchor, ICT on CNBC. Join us every morning in ICT's. Anyway, I'm just fucking with you. But I would do it. I am not lying. I'm telling you, give me an opportunity. I will make a show of it openly. Just to thumb my nose at all the doubters. I would love it. And win new friends. But anyway, the folks that are looking forward to next year thinking it's going to be a magical transformation for you, you're still going to have to work your ass off. Okay. The only thing I'm lending you is the 30 years perception and experience. That's it. That's it. You're still going to be complaining that I didn't tell you when to buy. You're still going to complain that I didn't tell you where to put a stop loss. You're still going to be complaining where the best partials would be and what amount of partials. See, all those things have to be a unique decision. I didn't understand it either. Okay, it doesn't sound like that's how it should work. It sounds like, well, it should be the same way for everyone. How the fuck's that even possible? If it's the same for everyone, if everybody's doing the same fucking thing, how can there be liquidity on the other side of it? You see what I'm saying? That's also the argument that I'm going to pose to you in a little while when we start talking about that one tick stop loss. Yeah, we're going there. But I want you to think about how you're going to wreck yourself next year in your learning process, because you're going to try to put more than I'm willing to put on you as your educator. As your mentor, I'm going to tell you where you should be focusing. When I tell you that, it doesn't mean, okay, well, I have extra time and extra energy. I'm going to take on this on top of it. What the hell? Don't do that. And I'm telling you, I've seen this with every group that I've ever had. Even before, when I was doing one-on-one, I had some students would come in, they would listen, do exactly what I said, and they'd do well. And then I'd have these guys coming in, and one lady who was like, I'm convinced she was a gambler, like straight up gambler. But they would come in and I'd say, okay, this is what you're supposed to be focusing on. And they only had 1 week with me. This is what you're focusing on. This is all you're going to do. And I would sit there and they would have to do it in front of me. And they would start doing other shit, messing around here, messing around there, open their BlackBerry up, scrolling through and looking at their emails. I'm like, do you see what the market's doing right now? Mm-hmm. You're not even looking at it. You're looking at your BlackBerry. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you here? You want to learn how to do this? The BlackBerry's not going to tell you to fucking buy. Why are you looking at that? Put that shit down and look at the chart. The chart's going to tell you when you're supposed to be doing something. Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Fucking, I know I'm right. You're here to learn from me. Why are you not listening to me? So it's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Trust me, some of you wouldn't have been able to deal with me on a one-on-one basis. And you all want it, but you wouldn't want it. Trust me, once you sat in the seat next to me. My own kids don't fucking want to deal with it. Yep, that's the way it is growing up ICT. So we've had a wonderful year of learning. I've had so much fun, and I promised you that you would see precision. I promised you that I would show you, and I waited to the last day of the year, and it's typical of me, isn't it? I walked you through a top-down approach, and you're all encouraged to go and look at the longer rendition of that little short video from yesterday when I recorded the PM session. If you go into that, what is the video description box underneath the YouTube video? If you click on that, it'll maximize and show you my whole dialogue there. And I give you the actual link that begins the thread on my Twitter feed. If you click on that, it'll take you step by step from the very first tweet all the way through all the charts. I go from the daily chart, 4-hour, 60-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and the 5-minute chart. Okay. And I state very plainly that those are the levels that I'm going to work with for today. Now, the backdrop behind that was, and this is also included in those tweets, nothing was deleted. I don't ever delete a tweet, ever. I make mistakes, and I'll either admit something or type something wrong, and I'll add it in an additional tweet, but I'm not deleting anything. Nothing is hidden. I'm not hiding anything. No double one direction this way, one direction that way. I'm not giving you two sides of, an outcome. And I said, okay, we're looking at very specific levels. Okay. And while it was important for you not to engage, because if you are engaging or pressing the button, you're going to be worrying about your stop loss getting hit or moving around instead of watching price, which is what I was guiding you through in the beginning before the 9:30 opening. So we were looking for that draw on liquidity, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from it. You go and look at it. And it hit it beautifully. I engaged the very thing that I teach you in my lessons, in real mentorship. Okay. I drew your attention to a very specific thing in the charts, and you'll see it when you go through it. I engaged in it, hit it. And then I aimed for the liquidity and that draw on liquidity level that you saw in your charts. And it was perfect. Perfect. You couldn't ask for anything better than that until the PM session. Because I know, and I knew when I was teaching on Friday, I said, look, you have to have some kind of a beginning point. See, you all that are young and you're really just wanting to be like my examples, you want to be able to do that, because I already know if I create monsters that can do what you watch me do on Friday, I'm going to tell you this right now, none of you are going to be able to do that next year. Okay. That's not going to happen. And that's not a knock against anybody's aptitude or intelligence. I'm just telling you from a realistic perspective, it took me decades to get this way. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't have it in my 8th year. I didn't have it in my 10th year. It didn't happen in year 10, 12, 15. Okay. Around 20-ish. Then it started, like, I was finding my groove. But you won't be able to trade like that in Forex. And that's why I said many times when I see these folks out there about 2 pip stop losses, okay, you're not going to trade with a 1 tick stop loss in Forex. You're not. Okay. And if you start trading size, what size? Well, it's relative. But if you start trading with size and you're thinking that you're going to do consistently a use of a 2 pip stop loss or 1 pip stop loss, and your broker's not going to open their spread to grab you, yeah, you're full of shit. That's exactly what they're going to do. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's why if you look across the spectrum of all those Forex brokers, everybody's high is different. Everybody's low is different because you're trading in their pool of liquidity. FXCM, Forex.com, all of them have their own little servers. And every one of those servers have a different high and different low. But you're not seeing it because you're not looking at it comparatively. But open up 2 accounts in the same brokerage firm and see if you're not in 2 different servers. They're going to be slightly different. But you signed on knowing that. You can't bitch about it. When you signed up and you signed all those papers that you never fucking read, just like when you buy a house and you buy a car, you open up a bank account, you're giving the money to the bank. You don't even realize it yet, but you are. And they're promising that if we got opportunity to give your money back to you, we will. But there might not be a chance for that sometimes. And if we can't, then we're going to call your money an investment in the bank, and we'll call it a good day. Thanks for your investment. See you later. Futures, bonds, S&P, NASDAQ. I'll go so far as to say Dow, but not as clean as ES and NASDAQ. Why don't I trade Dow? Because I can't fucking stand it. I look at it like the dollar. It's just a barometer. It helps me confirm something against the other averages. I don't look at Russell. Okay, I think it's garbage. You don't need it. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the ES. That's it. You need one triad. 3 markets that are closely correlated. That's it. So when we look at precision elements in price action, you're not going to find anything cleaner than stock indices and bonds. There's nothing cleaner. There's no other market out there that's cleaner. That's also the reason why I can't stand crypto, because crypto is a full of shit market. Like it's got, look how long Bitcoin's is hanging around that narrow sideways channel. How many of you are losing your mind over that shit? That would drive me nuts. Like that kind of shit. Ugh. That reminds me of silver, decades ago. Silver would just do that. And then everybody would be making courses and books and shit. Silver's going to have a historical breakout. It's going to be in a long, narrow sideways channel. Well, and it's all the bullshit I learned from Ken Roberts rather, and lost my ass. First trade, 50% gone. That shit don't work. Okay, that's like gambling. That's like scratch offs, lottery tickets, the Powerball. You ever notice how the Powerball, since they did that scam job, and they said somebody won the $2 billion? First of all, they didn't do a drawing, and it's like slowly creeping up because nobody wants to buy a ticket. They're pissed off. They'll buy the Mega Million, but they're not doing Powerball. You see how easy it is for me to get distracted, and you want me to do a live stream and answer questions and watch the market too. Fuck that. I can't do it. You're going to have to just watch what I'm doing. I'll talk about it before it happens, and there it is. But I can't answer questions while I'm doing live streams. But you're going to have an invitation to be a part of a interactive learning process. I'm going to do my best to try to make it so that way you have to see it yourself and listening to my dialogue when it's salient. So when you're watching the price charts with me live on YouTube, I'll prompt your attention to certain things. And then I'll tell you, screenshot this. If you can't be there live when you're watching the replays, at that moment, pause the video and screenshot it. Okay? If you don't do those types of things, you're not going to get the results that you're probably hoping for, or at least not the results that I'm aiming for. If you do what I'm telling you to do, you will learn amazing things next year. You'll have a better understanding about what I do in the mornings and in the afternoons. How do I get my bias? How do I know what I'm looking for? How do I know if I should be trading today or not? What happens if I feel like I think this is a day I'm going to trade, and then things change that takes my willingness to want to trade away, and then I don't want to do anything? See, that's mentoring. That's the real shit that books can't do, a 1 week workshop can't do. You have to be with someone that knows how to do it, that's done it more than just in the last year. I got funded account. I'm going to start doing a mentorship. Fuck, get the hell out of here. You're teaching ICT stuff, so just stop. Save everybody's time and money. Give them their link to my channel, and it's done. It's easier. They'll respect you more in the end. But Friday, I went through the top-down approach. I went through the daily chart with you, and I mentioned in the narrative of everything, think about what yesterday was. Okay, I prompted this in a tweet. I said, think about what has been going on, who's been making money recently. The shorts. The market's been bearish. It's gone down. Yes, we had a rally off the lows on the daily chart, but year-end squaring of positions. That means folks that are holding positions that, for taxable income and things of that nature, if they're holding positions, what positions are they likely to be squaring up towards the close of the day? Well, if you're short or predominantly short, when people are closing in positions on a short, they have to do what? They have to buy. So that's already a built-in advantage. So now think about why I said 38.64. Note that. Relative equal high. Note that. And I left you in the morning session. What did I teach you in the 2022 mentorship when it starts to trade in the afternoon session? You use the lunchtime liquidity. Where are the stops? If it's been going down, where are the stop losses in buy side above that lunch hour? The market's going to gravitate towards that. Unless it's a strong one directional trending day, which isn't always the case. You have to be a trader working in markets that are not like that. But if it's one direction, just a big tear off right from the beginning type day, you either got to be in it from the beginning or you're done. just leave it, let it go. But if it doesn't have any kind of like real retracements of any kind, that's what I'm referring to. Those types of days, unless you're in at the beginning of the move, it's better just this turn it off, come back the next day or whatever. But that's not what it feels like you should do at the time. You want to chase it, or you'll spend all day waiting for a retracement that never comes. It just keeps melting or keeps barreling higher. Those days cause people to blow their accounts because they chase and they chase and they chase. And even knowing that they shouldn't do it, they put on a bigger position to make up for the fact that they didn't get in at the earlier point. And in any little retracement of any single candle or two, which is insignificant in the grand scheme of that move, they collapse the trade because they can't handle it. and it still keeps pressing on. You've been there before, haven't you? I know what that feels like. I did that shit in oats, thin, shitty ass market in commodities. I did that. And it was in a mood that just kept moving and moving and moving. And because I was trying to make up for the fact that I didn't get in when I knew I should have, I put in a bigger position than I should have. And every 1 cent move is $50, kind of like an ES. And when you're carrying 15 contracts and you can't really carry that much in terms of margin, it doesn't take long to scare you out of the trade. And 4 cents, 5 cents, it was enough for me. I had to bail it, and it would still keep going in the direction if I just would have held onto it. Never went to what I would have used as a stop loss, but I couldn't weather that pain. 20-year-old man, 20-year-old, no clue what real money was, wet behind the ears in life, freshly divorced. I had chip on my shoulder. I had all the things that you're going to complain to me about if we were sitting at the bar. Okay. You want to give me the reasons why you're not successful. Your father hated you. Your mother disowned you. Your wife cheated on you. Everybody's, hated you and shit on your entire life. Dude, I have all that stuff. Okay. I got all that shit. And that's none of it's an excuse for you not to be able to be successful with this. None. I was homeless. Okay. Trust me, I'm telling you, there's nothing you're going to be able to bring to this conversation that says that this is a verifiable reason why you can't make it work. Because that's bullshit. You have to have the tenacity to say, I'm going to deal with it and stick with it. And understand that, like what I did on Friday, walking you through the daily chart. And I outlined the fact that we are in what? The last day of the year. Now, the narrative I gave you and the reasons for it was this. Last trading day of the year, we're not expecting a lot of volatility. But let's note it. The previous day's high and the previous day's low. Which one's likely to get hit? Well, if you consider the fact that we're in our last trading day, it's a Friday, there isn't going to be new positions barreling in there. There isn't going to be this big rush to, I got to get in here. There's going to be a big move. Not on the last trading day of the year. They're not going to have that. So that means what? We're likely to have an inside day. How did I know that? I'm sure you're probably asking, like, I hope he answers, how did he know it's going to be inside day? Well, I've already said and what I've explained thus far, but we also opened below previous day's low. I'm sorry, below previous day's high and above previous day's low. So at 8:30, when we start looking for something, and at 9:30, those 2 time periods are important. There's 2 hours of the morning session that you have to be in front of your charts between 8:30 in the morning and 9:30 in the morning, all the way up to like 10:30. I guess technically it's 2 hours. That's your morning session. Now, if you haven't found a setup by then, don't. There you go. There's 80% of your losing trades now been removed. If you chase something outside of that 2 hour window, if you haven't found anything yet, don't wait for the PM session.